Well, what is up? I hope you can hear that popping. That was interesting. That was my vaporizer popping. I've done that for me in the past too when I reach closer to the light speeds, as if it was close to light. Just joking, folks. Anyways, hope you're all doing real well as usual. It's Robert. It is getting to the close of April in 2023. Good times. Good times. It's Friday, as is usual. I'm here presenting some psycho-spiritual stuff to digest. Today, we have a religious note, and I wanted to talk about. I've described that I have a banishment, contemplation, and meditation practice. More aptly put, is a meditation practice. I don't like to meditate. I prefer to contemplate, but sometimes you gotta meditate. And I do a lot of it, unfortunately, too much. But what can you do? So there's a lot of banishment that goes on in my meditations. And this is one of the surprising things that jumped out at me when I was thinking about what I was going to present for you guys here today. Love you guys. Was that, okay, this is more like witnessing, clairvoyantly what Jesus is doing, what Jehova is doing, and what the Holy Spirit is doing after I've said my prayers. And so I'll tell you exactly what they're doing. So Jesus, so they're like, so let's say there's bad, let's say there's a demon, or the demonic entity, demonic entity, okay? Because when I'm bothered by, or enlightened by, or pleasured by, or what I bring pleasure to, what I inform, who informs me, etc., sometimes they're astral travelers. Sometimes they're embodied astral travelers. I mean, when I say that, I mean sometimes they have a body. They're astral travelers that actually have a body somewhere in the States or around the world. Often they're astral travelers that don't have bodies. They're dead, okay? Then there's also Hindus, the dead Hindus. There's the dead Buddhists. And then there's the dead purgatorial souls, the Christian purgatorial souls. And there's the condemned. Anyways, they're angels, but there's angels. But what surprises me is that I wasn't sensitive enough to determine, I'd say my prayer, but then I would lack awareness to what happened subsequently. And I had assumed that angels would come down and drag the offenders off. So I just assumed. I didn't know. All I know is that when I said my prayer, it worked. And that's all I knew. But no, what happens is Jesus comes and he's like, offers them his hand, and no one can say no to Jesus. He's so cool, man. Shit, you're not, dude. Demons, purgatorial souls, Hindus, Buddhists, doesn't matter. Long dead, briefly dead. Jesus he's so cool. He's always big. He's always like 10 feet tall. And he's so cool, man. He comes in with these beautiful, almost like not flowing, but just they're kind of heavy robes. Like towel-like robes. And they're humble towel-like robes, but they're beautiful. They have like some brass and golden inlay. And that's all they are, white, brass, and golden inlay. And humble. And he's like 10 feet tall. And he's just, his expression is so beautiful. And he just offers you his hand. And offers whoever is bothering me, he just offers them his hand. And like they take it. They can't refuse them. I don't know what's going on, but you just can't refuse Jesus. So everybody gives them their hand, and then Jesus says, just wallet takes them away. And that's it. I mean, sometimes they get pissed that they have to be led away, and they're, wow, fuck you, Robert. They'll get pissed. Pardon my swearing, Jesus, Jehova, the Holy Spirit. And sometimes they'll get pissed, they'll cry out, rah, rah, or they'll cry, when they're being taken away, but it's definitely not what I had previously imagined. It's definitely not an angel armed or armored or anything. It's not that. It's not a being of light. It's not a messenger. It's not Michael. It's not Gabriel. It's not any of those things. It's not Ariel, and it's not a minor angel. It's not a cherubim. It's not a seraphim. Jesus himself escorts other beings away. And then if Jehovah does the same thing, but he doesn't. I haven't seen him offer anybody his hands. I think Jehovah. The only other, I don't know if I saw Jesus do it or Jehovah do it, but on one occasion I think it was Jehovah. I saw him do one of these. You know what I did with Yuki and what I did with clients in the past is like if you have to separate two people. To demonstrate, if you have to separate two people, like I was gonna say nut house or crazy house, and that's what they are. Then you do this. You do this like so. Let's say this is a hallway, right? Not a room. It's a hallway, and let's say crazy person A is in front of me, right? And crazy person B is behind me, you know. And here I am, and I'm the person in charge, right? I'm the sane one. So it's one of these. And let's say, so this is, so I have to sit around my coffee table here, but it's one of these, you know, and then if you can turn them around too, so instead they're approaching you, you know, you just turn them around, and you just move them away. And so I've seen Jehovah do that to somebody too. You know, they're standing next to me, and Jehovah's like, "Oh, really?" He's just like, "Dude, Robert just banished you," and they're like, "Oh." And Joe just, you know, does one of these and turns around and just starts pushing them away. But it's a gentle pushing. It's not even a real pushing. It's kind of like a hug / movement and moving them away. It's really quite nice. It's a professional technique that is well known by people who work in, what's the appropriate term, psychological facilities, mental health facilities. But I've had to do it with my ex here about 5 years ago, just to get her out of my house. It's actually a very potent and great technique to have under your belt, because you have to use it to get people out of your house sometimes. People who claim to love you and claim to be your friend or whatever, if they're unwanted and they're in your house, you want them out, that's the way you do it. You just like, woo. You just gotta, you contain them, and then you use your mask to just like, move them. It's interesting. Okay, so anything else about that? I just want to point out that this is the most loving and merciful of all possible ways of handling a banishment, right? If you think about it, let's say you were in charge, right, of banishing somebody. How would you handle it, right? And let's say you were all powerful, and you had to banish somebody, and they were like basically insignificant to you. You loved them, but their power is insignificant to you. How are you going to banish them? Just as they do, just as Jesus does. And that's why I'm Christian. I mean, that's just one more reason why I'm Christian, is because the love that Jesus shows, the mercy that Jesus embodies, is superior to anything that I can imagine, folks. It's superior to anything I can imagine. So we'll close on that note, guys. Peace be with you all. Bye for now.